I want to keep discussing the desal plant. An additional $10 million, by the looks of it, from last year's $685 million budget was allocated toward the desal plant for 25-26, making the state's contribution nearly $700 million. How much is that for the 50 gigalitre order? And if there's been enormous rain, do we pause the order, or how is all that decided?
An order was placed at the end of May. I'm looking for confirmation. End of May. April, was it April? And so the order has to be lodged yes or no by that time. And so there is no going back. But having said that, as you have just indicated, water resources and rainfall are not going to change dramatically, even with the amount of rain that we've had on the weekend. And so the order will continue to be needed and will come through our taps next month.
So what's the cost of the 50 gig order?
So the cost of the 2025-26 water order is expected to be $34.3 million. Given the cost of living pressures being experienced, a state contribution was deemed to be appropriate in this instance. The cost of the water order was subsidised by $3.8 million to bring the average monthly cost for a customer using 150 kilolitres of water to less than $1 a month.
$1 a month increase. Okay. If we can now go to capital. Oh, actually, I want to go back to the Water Corporation debt levels. You did say they're within the normal levels at the minute. Can we get just a broader picture of where they're at? And you can take this on notice if you need to, but just want to get a better idea of where they're actually at.
Yeah, they will differ by Water Corporation as well, given their size and their ability to be able to finance that.
Yeah. Have you got a breakdown of, or could you supply a breakdown of each of the water corps?
Yeah. So we don't have the total debt with us, but what I can say is that
I'm happy to take it on notice.
that all water corporations have retained investment grade credit ratings, and this is an indicator of healthy balance sheets of water corporations and their ability to repay any debt. Using debt to spread the payment of the asset across the life of the asset means customers can pay through prices as they receive the benefit from it. This means the cost of the asset does not fall disproportionately on only current customers. For example, the construction period for a new pipeline may be 2 or 3 years, which is when the capital costs are incurred, but the benefits of that asset may be up to, say, 40 years. Taking on debt with its gradual payback allows for the cost to be smoothed so that the customer bills do not vary significantly from year to year.
Yeah.
So borrowing and limits with the Treasury Corporation of Victoria are a cap on how much water corporations may borrow. They do not necessarily borrow up to that limit, but you would know that. There is a process of scrutiny by the Department of Treasury and Finance to ensure that business can manage their debt, and water corporations forecast their expenditure and debt requirements in their corporate plans. The price review process and borrowing limits reflect that.
No one's doubting the need for water infrastructure and investment. We just want to get an idea of where the debt levels are at for the water corps, and I'm happy to take it on notice, just in the interest of time.
Well, the other thing is to actually look at their their annual reports. It should be in those.
Okay. Minister, are you familiar with the AETHA report commissioned by the Victorian Water Register that was released in March 2023?
That's the water register.
AITHER. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
The AITHER one you talk about, there's been a number of reports produced by AITHER and just trying to
The
understand
water supply and demand in the southern...
the socio-economic
Yeah.
assessment. Yes, yeah, it started in 2016, 17, and I think another one in 2022.
22 update.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. In that report, it was noted that the Lower Murray part of the basin would not have sufficient water in a dry year like it is now, despite the rain, such as 2015-16 would be well short of in a moderately dry or extremely dry year. What work's being done now to ensure that farmers' water security is being guaranteed? Because it is a real concern.
Did you want to do that?
If I can start with that one, Minister, if you like.
Sure.
So, as you're aware, within the northern system as well, there's a number of things that farmers can actually look to do. So we do have an active water market within the north of the system as well, so that people can actually look to trade their water, and so that it does allow it to go from areas which may not be using their water, whether that's sort of used within cotton and rice within southern New South Wales as well, and can move through the market. So we do allow that to actually occur. We have other products there.
Do we trust those in the Northern Basin, though?
Well, I don't think it's up to me to actually make comment in regards to it, but it is how we do recognise that there does need to be the synergy, and the AITHER report does actually point that out as well, as that we do need to have an active...
doing its part of the heavy lifting.
Exactly right, and it does need to ensure that. So it really comes back to, there is obviously the buybacks, which is occurring within the north, and that's where the AITHER report really goes to as well, with the amount of water coming out of the system. And a key part of that, what Victoria's looking to do there, is that it has produced what's referred to as a prospectus, so it's within the northern system, and it is a better way that Victoria actually believes that if the Commonwealth is going to come into the market, instead of having open tenders, that it can undertake work such as targeting in particular areas and what that can do, and we've seen evidence of that already within northern Victoria. But in managing the water as it stands, with less water in the environment, it is coming down to whether it's trade and carry over and other products such as that.
Thank you, Mr Fennessy. Mr Galea.